Hi friends, I'm sitting here on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial with Washington Monument and the Capitol and back. And it's always one of my favorite places to visit because it inspires me a lot. Abraham Lincoln obviously had big dreams, and one of those was to keep our nation united during a very difficult time. And also on these very steps where I sit today, Martin Luther King gave his powerful "I Have a Dream" speech. In December of 2019, in one of the last sermon series that I preached at Radiant Church, I asked those who were in attendance that day if they were willing to dream a God-sized, God-inspired, and God-dependent dream. Just 3 months earlier, while I was in the hospital after being told by a neurologist that I should be dead, I felt like God asked me a question. Randal, are you willing to give up your one dream to help start many dreams? Well, at the end of that message on that December Sunday, I kind of got away from my notes and I began asking what if kinds of questions. What if God was calling you to do something bigger than you? What if God was calling you to lead your neighbor to Christ? What if God was calling you to maybe start a new business or something like that, you know? And then I clearly remember blurting out, what if God was calling Radiant to impact 1 million souls? Now in my head, I immediately began to question what I just said. How in the world could that be possible? How foolish did I just sound saying that our young church could impact 1 million souls? I really felt bad. And honestly, I was asking all these people to have great faith for a God-sized dream, and God was challenging me to do the very same thing. Now fast forward to this year of 2022, we've launched Radiant Go, the global outreach ministry born out of Radiant Church. And in the first 3 quarters of this year alone, we've already helped to fully fund a new church plant here in America, and we're helping to build a children's outreach ministry center in Bethlehem, 2 blocks from where Jesus was born. That's going on right now. We've also been helping to support monthly and pay for tuition for 10 children in Kenya who were about to be sold but were rescued, as well as supporting the ministry there that's led by Pastor Thomas Gasabo, who has now started 29 churches in a remote part of Kenya. And Radiant Go purchased cell phones for all those pastors so that they could access the internet and join a weekly Zoom call for training. In the last 3 months, Chris and I have been able to teach those dear pastors and their wives through Zoom. And Pastor Thomas asked me to start the training with teaching about marriage from a biblical perspective. And let me just say, Chris and I have been having an amazing time doing this. It's been so fulfilling. Now, Pastor Thomas translates all of the teaching into Swahili and Korea. So to help with that translation, I give him ahead of time the full transcript of my notes. And recently he told me that he was using my notes to teach about marriage on the radio and had a great response. Now, keep in mind, it was very late for me, early in the morning for him, and I'm texting him while I'm in bed and about to fall asleep. But I kind of asked him, well, what reach does a radio station have? And I'm thinking sincerely, this is a remote place. The radio probably reaches about 7 or 8 people there. Pastor Thomas reminded me that very few people have TV or internet access, so radio is a big thing. He said that the radio broadcast literally reaches into much of Kenya and a large part of Tanzania. And then he tells me how many people the radio broadcast reaches. You want to guess? Over 1 million people. Yeah, God took the little loaves and fish that we gave him and he's multiplied it. And then Pastor Thomas said that people keep calling the radio station, asking questions and wanting more of the broadcast since it's only 30 minutes each week. I asked him what it would cost for a 1 hour of radio time for that weekly broadcast. And he said it would be $500 US, which was 2.5 times what a 30-minute broadcast cost. So I felt like I needed to ask him to ask the radio manager what it would cost if we paid for a year in advance for a 1 hour program. Well, he came back with a message the next day. He was so excited. He said they'll do a 1 hour weekly broadcast for only $350 a month. And so I told Pastor Thomas, hey, I'll speak with our board of directors, but I really feel sure that we can get 12 individuals or families who are willing to give $350, and Chris and I will be the first of those 12. So they've already started the weekly broadcast, and the radio station said it's one of the best programs they have. Now, here's a question I want to ask you. What is the God-sized, God-inspired, God-dependent dream that he's asking you to dream? You see, that Sunday when I blurted out what I wanted Radiant Church to impact 1 million people, I kind of panicked inside, and I felt foolish. But I'm wondering if God might have just chuckled to himself and said, I'll show you, Randall. But I'm going to ask you one more question. I want to ask you if you would ask God how you can help Radiant Go to impact even more people. It may be sponsoring a radio broadcast for $350. It may mean sponsoring a child in elementary school there in Kenya for $30 a month, or a high school student for $50 a month. It may be that God wants you to help us pay the $400 per month rent for a new church that we're helping to start in India, or $75 a month per student for a school in India. And here's even more great news. 100% of what you give goes directly to the mission work, because all the administrative costs are paid by Radiant Go. It's all endowed by the church. And so I'm just asking you to ask God what he would have you do and be obedient in that. If you feel led to give in any way, or to set up a recurring donation, you can go to our new website, radiantgo.com. And of course, since Radiant Go is a 501c3 nonprofit, all your donations are tax deductible. Again, the website's radiantgo.com. But I want to challenge you to dream with me. Not selfish dreams, but dreams from God that are bigger than you and me. And maybe he's asking you the same question he asked me. Are you willing to give up your one dream to help start many dreams? I'd love to hear from you. Through direct message here on social media, wherever you're watching this, or through our website, or however you choose. But let me just say this as well. There might be some of you that thought of something just now, and immediately you said, oh, that's too crazy, that's too big, that's foolish, just like I did on that Sunday. I want to encourage you to dream God-sized dreams and depend on him. Let's see what he will do. I love you. I bless you. Have a great day.